for the Nevermore narrative with your host, Count David von Ravenstein.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the third episode. I was going to say season.
Yeah, third season. Wow. One episode per season.
Right.
That's how good we are. A third episode of the Nevermore narrative. I know we've been on like a few month hiatus. The whole holiday season hit, and then afterwards we're like, we just figured
You're like, whatever, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, I'm like, whatever. Like, it wasn't my idea to do the thing anyway. But if you haven't been here before, what we do on the show is just talk about, all sorts of things that are creepy, things about the occult, supernatural, paranormal, extraterrestrials, conspiracy theories, all sorts of weird, typically taboo kind of shit that most people think, like, oh no, this person's going to think I'm crazy. Like, no, we'd love to hear it. So tonight's episode is about skinwalkers. And my guest today is George, and this is his idea to do the show, or the topic. Say hello, George.
How goes it, everybody?
Yeah, right. He's been on here before. He's been on, or actually on the Speakeasy Gentleman before. You guys have seen him before. And I don't know, George, what do you got for the whole topic, man?
To be honest, I don't have a lot, but I do have like the basics of the skinwalker, like where, like their abilities, their skills, they get more powerful. Crazy enough, they get more powerful as they get, as they basically level up.
Well, yeah, I was reading some of the stuff and like similar to that. Okay, so skinwalkers are, well, actually, before we continue,
yeah, let's start with the I guess the origin.
Yeah, but before we continue on, actually, I don't want to refer to them as the word anymore because I was reading along the lines of like
It's
saying
like Beetlejuice. If you say it more than you've already
Kinda.
said it more than 3 times, man, you're fucked.
Yeah, that's part of the reason that it's really not talked about is because if you refer to them, it attracts their attention.
Yeah, so I will, from here on out, I'm just gonna refer to him as the creature or whatever because I don't really want to I don't want one on my ass, dude. Fuck that.
Yeah, I got like a trail full of coyotes right next to me too.
Oh, dude, fuck that, man. Fuck. Yeah, dude, no, I'm fine.
Yeah.
At any moment, they could just be like, "Hey, that's the guy."
They could be just tapping on my window, but you better end that shit right now.
Right? Fuck. You better knock that shit off, man. So yeah, the origin dates back. I don't know about you, man, but all I've really found is it's typically a Navajo thing. Although they have some like a similar sort of creature in the Hopi and the Ute tribes. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but
yeah, like the Wendigo and stuff, right?
Yeah, the Wendigo, which is another creature, but it's a human that feasts on human flesh, essentially.
Yeah.
The more they feast on it, they can't shake this craving for human flesh. So they become like that's all they desire, and the more they eat, the bigger and bigger they get. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Josh, you've never heard of any of this?
No, I haven't. So are these skinwalker things, are they supposed to be like aliens or something like that? Like, are they like paranormal beings? Are they humans? What are they supposed to be?
So they're technically, they start out as, well, I mean, there's a few different versions of it, but the one from the Navajo is they start off as healers, right? And like apprentice witches.
Yeah, they're called the medicine men or the Atali.
Yeah. And so they basically start practicing that, and then I think they started using them for finding out intel, like from when the Europeans came to America.
Yeah.
So they had like a really they had a good relationship with the tribe at first, and it didn't really specify why they started having issues with the skinwalkers, but yeah, it just it didn't really go. It didn't have a description of that. It just said like they just don't talk about them anymore.
Yeah, so the Navajo word for the creature is Naldushi.
Nalushi.
Oh, you're totally fucked. Now you said it in the native tongue.
Yeah.
I think if you say it in English, you're good.
They don't speak English, David.
And it means with it, he goes on all fours. That's what it translates to.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, but like George said, they go back. They, at one point, they are medicine men of the Navajo tribe. And they're, I think what I read is that they're taught both good and bad evil magic. But they kind of, if they become too consumed by the evil, then they kind of like, you know, they're like, hey, fuck it, I kind of want to do this or whatever. But at one point, they were on, like, they were cool with the rest of the tribe, and they would spy on, you know, the white invaders or the European invaders when they came. Uh-huh. And they would, you know, come and tell them the intel and everything and help keep the tribe safe. But after 1860, after the Long Walk, which was, you know, I think, I'm going to say the U.S. government forced them to move, like to relocate the entire tribe.
Yeah, that was relocation.
So after that is when they became feared by the people, by the tribe. But there's, like George said, there's like no one knows what the fuck happened. Yeah. I want to speculate that I think maybe they were upset that they kind of were agreeing with the government. They're like, why are you moving? This is your home. We were here first. Like,
yeah, I think maybe why not fight for it?
Yeah, that would be my interpretation of, like, you know, maybe that's why they're so upset. But in the Navajo tribe, they're really believe in these things, and Navajos typically refuse to discuss them at all, but especially with non-Navajos or people they don't trust.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So that's why this sort of creature is only came about pretty recently, and that's why we're, like, you know, kind of barely getting some information. There's a lot out there, but also not as much as you would expect for a creature that's been around since the tribe has been around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally for hundreds and hundreds of years.
Yeah, for sure. So the medicine man is the creature. They have attained this highest level of priesthood in the tribe. This is what it is. And in order for them to become one, they have to commit one of the most evil deeds, which is killing a close family member. And also in some parts, they have to eat part of them. Did you read that?
What?
Yeah, I did read that. Yeah, that they eat part of them, so that way they kind of lose a bit of humanity and become beast-like, and then they can transform.
Yeah. And then once they become, you know, they become essentially humans with immense, like, supernatural power, the ability to transform into animals and also people.
Mm-hmm.
They have crazy-ass, like, powers, dude. It's nuts.
Yeah, so
the fucking
they're
story.
Basically like a superhero.
Yeah, but villain. It's nuts, man.
So let's talk about some of the stuff that they do. What is it that they could do?
Let's see what I got here. George, if you want to go ahead and take it away.
Okay, so skinwalkers, they can change into, it says that they can change into any animal, but the most common was like a coyote, owl, wolf, or like a
crow.
Crow. But it says they can take the shape of any animal that they wish. And they said that some of them use like the animal skins to help them become that creature. But I guess they don't. I don't know. Someone wrote that they don't really do that anymore because that's kind of a dead giveaway.
What I got from that was that they wear the skin of the animal that they transform into, and that is a dead giveaway. But since then, the Navajo tribe has they've made it like they've kind of banned it. It's taboo for any of them to wear any animal skin. The only ones that they do wear, that the Navajo do wear, are sheepskin and buckskin, but that's only for ceremonies.
Mm.
So anything else, if you see like someone who's Navajo and wearing a pelt of an animal, that's probably the creature that we're speaking of tonight.
Yeah.
Huh.
And then, they, let's see. Things they can do. They, let's see, shit. I have so much shit that's called...
There's a lot. So, I mean, it says that they, because they're also witches, so they can use witchcraft.
Mm-hmm.
They use charms to control their victims.
They have the ability to hypnotize. Like, if you lock eyes with them...
Oh, yeah.
For a period of time, they can control your mind or take your form.
They can absorb themselves into your body. So, like, not like literally their body into yours, their mind. So they basically take control of you.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, lock eyes. Yeah, dude. So they are usually, they kind of, since they are still human, technically, they only really stalk at night. They prefer the darkness.
Yeah.
They cannot enter homes, which is good, unless they're invited. And then they can't undo the state that they're in. Once they become that creature, that's their kind of their way of life now. They can't undo it and be like, yeah, take it back. I don't want these powers anymore. Like, nope, that's all you, motherfucker.
Yeah, they can't revert back to just being human. They're basically that for forever.
It's like a curse, I guess.
Yeah.
So then, some of the encounters, they go to telling of what happens on the reservation. This is why Navajos, and especially on the reservation, they don't ever go outside at night. There's a lot of stories of people driving through, the roads through the reservations at night, and they see some weird shit on the side of the road. It's like they'll see the coyote just like sitting there chilling, but as they get closer, it like takes off running, and it'll run alongside the car, keeping pace at 70 fucking miles an hour.
Yeah.
And then the car will speed up to like fucking 100 miles an hour, and they'll look back and they'll see that the creature is now walking on its hind legs, and it's running and it's become man now, and it's just a human being running alongside the car.
Yeah.
They were saying like something about the eyes too. When the creature is in animal form, like a coyote, it doesn't really have animal-like eyes. It has more human eyes.
It's human eyes, and they glow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when it's in a human form, they have animal-like eyes. That reflective, like glowing yellowish color when you flash it. Yeah. That's what they have, and it's kind of like opposite ends when for the eyes and shit. Some people have like been telling stories about how the paws of some of them are human hands.
Yeah, I've actually heard some of the stories like that, and I heard another one where this guy his uncle was driving through, I think, New Mexico, and they noticed a coyote on the side of the road, and it started chasing the car, and they were just blown away that it was keeping pace with the car. And then they looked, and when they saw the coyote's head, it had the face of a man. Like the head was a man's face.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, some of the stories I wanted to like. There was I found like this website that had a bunch of articles about them. A lot of them were coming from the reservations, the people in Navajo tribe. I wanted to I read like 10 of them last night, and there was like more, and I was like, holy shit, I wanted to like jot down the kind of the basic of some of the good stories and shit. I didn't have time. I was like, fuck it.
There's a lot to sift. There's tons of sightings, and then there's even more like stories. So I mean,
I remember most of them. So one of the stories was how there was a grandmother on the reservation. This guy was telling a story about how his grandmother was like very, paranoid. She was worried about, the creature was, find her. So at night, she'd always have the kids come inside and shit like that. And she would always like, close the windows and stuff. And then he said at night when they were, they heard noises rustling around the house. Like it sounded like, at first it sounded like a wolf or a coyote kind of just pawing around, rustling around the corners of the house and shit, like kind of scratching on the wall. And then they heard like, it started like barking or like, like just like a howling or whatever.
Yeah.
You could distinctly tell the howl from an actual animal and then that of a man. So it started off as like an animal, like barking and a howling to a man's voice, like a very deep man's voice, like, ooh, and shit like that, just fucking huffing around the house. So it started fucking like pounding on the windows and hitting the walls of the house. And they freaked out. And I guess they had this sort of plastic barrel, and they heard it jump on that and then onto the roof, and it started clawing and shit and scratching on the roof. And so the grandmother like panicked, and she woke up because the kids started screaming. There was like the retelling from the kids' point of view, actually. So the grandmother woke up, the kids were screaming, she has an idea of what it is. So she quickly goes to the fireplace, gets some of the ash and smears it on like the shell of a shotgun, loads up the shotgun, and then goes outside the house to try like, you know, shoo it off.
Yeah.
So the creature ends up running away, and like after that she ended up moving because she like knew, typically because they're almost like werewolves but not really, because werewolves they transform involuntarily at night and they go out and commit these horrible deeds against innocent people.
Yeah.
But with, you know, these creatures, since they are still human, they have motives anyway like a human would. So typically their motives are very precise. They're out for revenge. They don't just go around to do it just for the fuck of it. They have something, you have something that they want or whatever, you know, or to try and get you to do their bidding. That's when they'll kind of come at you. So I don't know what, you know, she had saw or experienced or did when she was younger, but she was really worried, and she's like, oh, it found me. So she ended up moving from that house. That was like the end of that first story. And there was like, dude, there's a shit ton of them.
There's a lot of stories, yeah.
I was like, holy fuck. Yeah. So yeah, these legends all date back, obviously, from the, like, before the 1800s, like, since these people became a tribe. But the most recent history that I saw came from the 1970s. There was a custody case going on between, I think the father, I think it was a father that was Navajo and the wife, you know, wasn't. So when the boy was with the father, you know, there's, you know, spending time with the weekend, whatever. I don't know how custody battles work. He said that he had witnessed the ceremony going on between the father and a medicine man, where he took little like doll-like images, or, you know, like little fucking dolls that like almost like voodoo shit, you know, of the mother and the lawyer that was trying to, you know, take away the kid from the father. They conducted the ceremony, like chanted like a sort of song and everything, and then just he buried them in the ground, and then the kid like told and shit like that. And so like who was it? I think it was the lawyer who actually who sued the guy for like, you know, like, what the fuck you doing, like putting a curse on me and shit like that. And so the judge that was handling that case was actually, you know, quite a firm believer in all this stuff. So he's like, yo, you better undo that fucking curse or you're going away for a long time. Oh, actually, yeah, one of the things is let's see, where is it at? Encounters. Oh, if they're rarely caught, but if you track down and learn their true identity, the only way to stop them is you must pronounce their full human name. And then that creature will fall ill and get sick and die eventually. Mm-hmm. But also, just like a werewolf would, if you were to, you know, attack it or shoot it or whatever, they'll wake up the next morning, or, you know, later wake up, rather, when they get home, they'll just have that fucking wound there that they have to tend to.
Yeah.
But I heard that using white ash, like a bullet dipped in white ash, will help. I don't know if it will kill them, but it will certainly like stop them from...
Yeah, I read that if you dip like a bullet in white ash and then you shoot him in the neck, that you have a higher chance of killing him.
Oh, in the neck?
Yeah. Also using like silver, so like silver bullets or like a silver knife. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I'm not entirely sure how accurate that is.
Yeah.
I mean, better than nothing, right?
Yeah, right. So yeah, they usually they go out at night. They stalk a person's home where it follows them, and then, which was interesting is like a lot of the stories come from being on the side of the road, like through, you know, Navajo roads and shit at night. They'll just be on the side of the road. Mm-hmm. So I was reading like one of the articles, and they were saying that they think that maybe they like to hang out by the road because it's a lot like a dog chasing a car. They'll just chase your car for whatever fucking reason, just for the fuck of it, and they'll just kind of stop. Like, very rare. Some of the stories I've read, I don't think they really attacked people in the car. They'll hit and, like, you know, try and pound on the car itself or whatever, but they never really, like, necessarily, like, got in and attacked someone. Yeah. So I thought that was interesting. It's like, that's kind of like how they're the creature thinks. Like, oh, there's like a dog chasing a car. I'm gonna go fuck with him for a little bit, and then just I'm tired. Yeah. So then, let's see. I mean, that's most of the fucking notes that I got, dude. But everything else is just all first-hand accounts, and like just so many of them, I can't figure out which ones are real necessarily. I think the ones that come from the reservation for sure are definitely. I'm legit, yeah. Yeah, I believe in that. I believe in that shit anyway. So, and for sure, like, you know, Navajo is like what, one of the oldest fucking living tribes. Fucking, like, I mean, most Native American tribes, they all fucking say the same thing. Like, you know, where did their people come from? And they all point up at the sky and say, we came from up there. Like, they're star children.
So, you mentioned that they could turn into, like, coyotes and owls and stuff like that. I remember I heard, like, this folklore that, you know, like, certain white owls or something like that are witches. And this one time I was in Garden Grove, and we were standing out there, and we heard something, like, it kind of like a cackle, like a laugh, you know? And we looked up, and it was, like, this huge white bird that was flying, like, completely silently. Like, you couldn't hear it flap or anything. It was really close to the house, and it was making that, like, cackling noise.
It was laughing?
It was like a weird, like, caw mixed with, like, a cackle. It was just really weird. It's kind of hard to explain.
So it sounded like the cawing sound, like, so it's part bird, part man?
Yeah, more like part cackling woman.
No, I mean, that's some of the things, too, is, like, people will... Oh, one of the stories was called On the Reservation at Night. And it was a story of this two cousins who were walking home from a friend's house. They were like, I think their walk was like 4 miles. So they're walking home at night. And this is another reason why on the reservation Navajos don't ever go outside at night. So they're walking home and they hear laughing coming from behind them. So they look behind them and they just see it like a coyote, you know? Yeah. And they're like, yeah, whatever, that's kind of weird, but just keep walking, you know? And it starts laughing again, like a man's laugh. And they're like, what the fuck? And so they turn around and they see that the coyote is kind of like stood up on its hind legs and it like kind of walking towards them and shit like that. So they turn around to start running, and then right there is the fucking creature standing in front of them, and they're just laughing. And they could see like this human face with like this dog, you know, coyote-like body and shit like that. And so they just booked it home, and they got inside and like closed the fucking doors, closed the windows, and like, nope, not going back outside again at night.
So do they do anything menacing aside from creeping people out?
Typically, unless they're, I don't know, from what I've kind of understood in the research, unless they're out to get you personally for something that you have that they want, or something that they don't agree with that you're doing, and they kind of want you to, you know, they're in a sense kind of controlling you, and they want you to do this thing for them, whatever. Yeah. That's the only time they'll really kind of attack you, but they don't even really attack you. It's more of like they'll put like a curse on you, essentially.
Yeah.
Shit, I'd rather them attack me.
Right? Like, I have a better chance at fighting them off with a fucking curse. How's that curse I cursed you with? Cursey? I know you don't remember me.
So they're like dogs. They only bite when you touch their private parts.
I can't. Why would you touch a dog's private parts?
It's a quote from a movie. Never mind.
Oh, yeah, okay. I didn't know what movie. I never heard of it, so.
50 First Dates?
50 First Dates.
There you go, George.
He changed it from... Yeah, he changed it from shark to dog.
Yeah, so...
I think... I'm trying to think of like one of the other things I heard from the Navajo chief. He was talking about how like I guess they also have like a community. So like a lot of them like know each other, and they have like meetings.
The creatures.
Yes. He was saying that they have meetings, and I guess like they have like agendas.
Really?
So, yeah.
Like, what happened in the last meeting? Well, today I laughed at a couple people.
That's good. That's a start.
That's a start. There we go.
Stood up and laughed at their face, and then they ran in their house.
Jim, what did you do? I was just running by cars again. You got to do more than that.
You gotta do more than that.
I just love
not to get caught, David.
Right? Well, I ran pretty fast next to that car.
Apparently, you can hire them.
What the fuck?
Is what he was saying. Like some people can hire them.
You know what their number is? You call them. You call them
To
in
be
smoke
honest,
signal.
I don't know, and I don't want to know.
You call them in smoke signal, so it's just oh. No? Never mind. That was dumb. That was a dumbass joke.
That's really fucking dumb.
But yeah, he was saying that you can technically hire them for like basically to be hitmen. And I was like, that's pretty dark. Like that's already like a dark subject, but like imagine hiring like,
it's like hiring the devil to like fucking kill this guy for me.
To kill someone.
You got it.
It's super bizarre.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, to even be like involved in any of that shit, like even if you were like trying to put a curse on somebody, that's going a little too far.
Yeah.
Just like egg their house, like what the fuck? I don't know. That's crazy that the Navajo chief actually was discussing it all.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I was surprised he said so much, to be honest.
Damn.
Yeah,
so
that's
a lot of
crazy.
Yeah, so Josh, what do you think about any of this shit? How do you feel?
I've
if you didn't know anything about this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about it. I don't know, man. I mean, I'm a big, I'm gonna be the person on this show always that is very skeptical.
Skeptic, yeah.
And that's how I am. You know what I mean? I think that I'd be creeped out about it if I was thinking about it outside walking through a field in the dark or something. But I don't know. I guess it's hard for me to believe in like the whole shapeshifter type of thing nowadays.
Why? Because Twilight ruined it for you or something?
I've never seen Twilight.
Oh.
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of stories that I heard, surrounding like, especially Native American folklore or Islander folklore. I heard a lot of like stuff like that from my nana. You know what I mean?
What'd you hear? Why'd you speak up?
Not about this subject, just about some other things. Yeah,
I'm sure they have their own version. Or
oh yeah, they have like they have things in Guam that are kind of like leprechauns. They call them like duendes or duendes or something like that. And they're like these little things that live in like the forest and shit. And when my nana was like 15, 16 years old, when you're over there, you have to ask permission to go into the forest. You can't just go in there. You have to like ask before.
Who am I asking it for?
I don't know. You're saying like a prayer to ask permission. You know what I mean?
Dude,
like,
your fucking island is only like what, 6 miles wide?
Oh, dude, super tiny. So you have to do that though, right? You have to like say a prayer or something or ask permission somehow. So
what happens if you don't?
One time she didn't do that, and she ran in there and stuff, and then she remembers being like attacked by something, and then she ran out, and when she got home, she started getting really sick. Like she started just feeling like getting really hot fever and stuff, and got really sick. And on her leg, you could see a handprint, like just like a red handprint on her leg, like something touched her when she was out there, and it fucking ended up, getting her really sick and shit.
Damn.
Oh, dude, there's all kinds of like. She swears to this day, and she's never like relented. She told me this since I was a kid, which is pretty fucked up to tell a kid this kind of shit. But she's told me this ever since she was a kid. But she has so many stories about stuff like that. And this one time, she remembers out on the beach as a kid, and this girl like getting pulled into the sand. Like the sand basically just like opening up and pulling this girl in. And she saw the little girl playing and everything, and then she saw her like disappear into the sand. And her parents were freaking out. Like the girl went missing. It was like a huge thing that the girl was missing, and my nana kept saying like, I saw what happened, and nobody believed her. And they were like looking all over the island and stuff for this little missing girl, but she saw it. Like she still to this day will tell you in very vivid detail what she saw when she was a kid.
So what happened to that little girl? Did they were like?
They never
find her?
found her?
No, never
They
found.
never decided to dig the fucking.
No, oh, you're gonna believe little kids saying it got sucked up into the fucking sand?
Well, was
Start
anybody
digging?
else like getting a fucking lead on it?
No, I mean not anymore. It was a long ass time ago. It was when she was a little
Just-
kid.
Dig up her bones and shit.
Yeah, basically.
Damn, dude. Yeah, so there's like other creatures like in Europe. Obviously, they have the werewolf. Yeah, in your parts, Josh, would be where the Wendigo would go. Is whatever. In the
What you mean, like
North-
right here,
Northwestern
like
United
this
States.
is where the window go? Oh man, I need some sleep. All right, go ahead. So
the northwestern United States and like the southern part of Canada is where the Wendigo usually is kind of lurks or whatever the fuck.
I've never
But-
seen
I was gonna say maybe we should show one of those images so that
Yeah,
way
let's talk
we
about
can
it.
Oh yeah, so people get an idea of what we're
get an idea of
talking
what we're
about.
talking about here. So
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are we looking at
yes.
here?
This would be a illustration of a Native American man, the medicine man, wearing the pelt of the creature that he, shape shifts into, transforms into, whatever.
So left hand side is him in his normal human looking version. Right
Yes.
hand side is after this.
That'd be like a more
Transformation.
accurate fucking illustration because it looks like it's not quite human and not quite animal, and that's what all the accounts, all the encounters.
yeah, they all say that there's something off about the look of the animal.
Yeah.
There's always something not right.
Yeah, you notice how like it's more like paws or not quite paws. They look like human.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
hands. Yeah.
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 See that. Huh.
Damn.
Yeah. And so this image was captioned as Skinwalkers question mark. I'm not entirely sure how old this picture was, but I mean, yeah, it's possible Skinwalkers.
So that's
Well-
them wearing some pelts, right?
Yeah, wearing the pelts and then the feathers and everything.
Yeah, they stopped wearing the pellets after I don't know when did they stop. Like I don't know when exactly a year, but yeah, it's taboo for Navajos to wear pelts.
Yeah.
Really? I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, they only wear like I said earlier, they only wear the sheepskin or buckskin pelts, but that's only for ceremonies. Other than that, they're not allowed to wear any animal pelts at all.
Damn. So I swear I've seen this image here before on like Facebook or something.
You have, because it went viral for a while, and
Yeah.
it even made the news. I guess some researcher was driving. He was driving home. I forgot where they said it was. I'm pretty sure it was like New Mexico. Not sure. Well, that wouldn't make you pretty sure, but anyways, he saw something up in the road, and he decided to take because it looked funny. He decided to take a thermal image of it, and this was the image that he developed.
Uh-huh.
So they've
So-
proven this image to be like
Authentic.
real. Yeah.
They, to be honest, I didn't look that far into it to see whether or not it was a hoax. But I mean, I just remember this was like a very big thing for a while. Like it went viral.
I don't even
Yeah.
get how that's so, because it looks like a human kind of like spider walking or crab walking, whatever the fuck's that called, with like
But with
Yeah.
its head,
with like a mask on the back of
Backwards?
its head or something.
Yeah. It's very oddly shaped.
yeah.
Huh.
Very oddly shaped.
Yeah, so a lot of the stories that come from the accounts are typically in like Utah, New Mexico, Nevada, some parts of California as well. Typically where the Navajo tribes usually are. So,
Yeah.
Damn.
but what's that other image there, Josh?
What's this, George?
Okay, so this image is I don't know who the guy is, but he's right outside of the Skinwalker Ranch in Utah. So
So you know about that. I didn't really do any research on that one.
yeah,
Oh, Skinwalker Ranch. I've been looking at Skywalker Ranch this whole time. I thought that's what we.
Dumbass.
I thought
You're
that's
like,
what we
yeah,
were
it's
talking
fine.
about today.
he's like, I thought we were talking about the Skywalker Ranch today.
It's like shit.
No, so the Skinwalker Ranch is like it's like the central hub for all things like paranormal and extraterrestrial. Like it's it's pretty intense. Like, I don't want to go too deep into it because, to be honest, I think that could literally be its own segment because there's a lot of information on it, and it's pretty valid. Some of it's pretty valid information because there was like a family that lived there, and then they were bought out, and then scientists move in. So I mean, there's like credible information there, and I think we could probably make that an entire episode. So I mean, we could probably go over maybe one incident where I felt was kind of Skinwalker-ish.
We can go over a couple, and then I'll do more research on it, and then I'll have another.
On the first, it's called before it was called the Skinwalker Ranch. It was called the Sherman Oaks Ranch, and this family had just moved in. No one had bought that ranch. It was abandoned. It was vacant for like years. And then they got a really good deal on it, so they brought their cattle in. And then on day one, they were out there just setting up the house, and then they had their cattle. They had their cattle behind the fence, and then like all of a sudden, this large wolf walks up. Like it's large. Like it's probably they said it was about 3 times the size of a regular wolf.
Holy fuck.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with like what a dire wolf is. It was like the largest breed of wolf that existed, I think, like 10,000 years ago or something.
Yeah.
But they said that was the closest. It was about that size, and it seemed awfully friendly. It came up to them. It wasn't violent or anything. So they thought it might be someone's pet. So
yeah, a pet that large. Oh, come here, you.
So it was a little weird. And then one of the calves stuck his head through the gate, so his head was exposed. And then the wolf jumped at it, bit the calf on the head. And so this guy is trying to save his livestock. And so he's sitting there beating this thing. He's hitting it with like I think he had like a rake or something in it, like some type of work tool in his hand. And like nothing is phasing it. Like he's hitting this thing as hard as he can. He's like, all right. So he goes and he gets. He tells his son to get his gun. So he gets like a .357. Starts shooting this thing. No effect. Like he's unloading on this thing. It doesn't do anything to it. Not flinching. It's not yelling. It's just ravaging his livestock. And so he tells his wife to go get his rifle, something stronger. And so he shoots this thing with the rifle, and then it kind of like stops for a second, and it doesn't like yell or scream like in pain. It just stops and looks at him and just stares at him. And then he shoots it again, and then a piece of like flesh falls off of it onto the ground, and then it darts off. And so he goes and chases it, and then he's chasing it for, I think he said like a quarter mile. And then the tracks just disappear. Like the tracks are completely visible. And then all of a sudden, nothing. Like it just vanished. And so they're like, it's crazy. They had no idea what happened to it. So they decided, they went back to the ranch. And then they went to check out that piece of meat, that fell off of it. Mm-hmm. And when they picked it up, it was like the meat was like rotten. Like it had only been like maybe an hour or two. But it looks like the meat had been rotting for like weeks. Like it was rancid. It was really bad.
The fuck?
Yeah. It was. I watched like 2 documentaries on it, and then like one interview, and it's an interesting. It's an interesting phenomenon.
And that was the first family that moved in, you said?
Well, they weren't the first family that lived there, but this is when they started documenting it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So like the first documented case of
because they kind of knew some weird stuff was happening when they moved in, because when they moved in, like the doors had like all these like crazy bolts on them. Like they were like everything was bolted. Like, the doors were bolted, the windows were bolted, like everything was bolted. There was these big stakes in the front yard with chains. Like the owners kept like their large dogs outside in the front, like there was some hints there that it might not have been a good buy.
Damn, dude, that is fucking creepy.
So to be honest, I think you should talk about that another time, and just because you can go more in depth,
Yeah, I'll definitely look that up now. Holy shit, dude.
I'm just gonna stop sharing my screen for a second because I'm going to pull something up. Go ahead and continue talking there, David.
So there's other some of the accounts too of people who have encountered the creature, that we're talking about. They've reported to have seen him having tattered clothing, like jeans that are sort of ripped, or shirts and shit like that.
Okay.
Like showing that they are human when they just transformed into the whatever the fuck. And also like in like Navajo, I don't know if it's like necessarily tradition or it's kind of what they believe in. They don't believe in having dogs inside the house. They just always have, if they have dogs, they always have them outside the house. They think that the dog is supposed to protect the house and the family, which I guess is kind of good, considering if you have a creature like that stalking you or your family and like fucking around with your house, it's good to have a dog as a fucking warning. Like, hey, what the fuck's going on over here? Like, holy shit.
Stuff's happening.
So the reason why I took you guys off for a second is because now that you brought up tattered clothing, and you brought up, people wearing like hide of animals and stuff like that, and looking human.
Yeah.
It made me think of something that I actually did see, and I was actually able to find an image.
What did you see?
I'll show you guys right now.
Oh, dude. You know what, man? I hope one of these creatures like stalks your fucking house, dude. That's a dick move.
It's Tom Green from Freddy Got Fingered.
Yeah.
That was good. Come on. George got a laugh out of it.
That's pretty funny, dude. It's pretty funny.
I don't know, man. I wouldn't really. I'm cool.
Well, you guys have been saying that you're not supposed to say it, but you both have said it several times.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure you summoned,
I haven't. I've been calling it the
Beetlejuice.
Right.
I've been calling it the creature, man. So I don't know about you guys. That should be good.
Well, he's got to run from over there to over here. So.
Yeah, they've been said that they kind of travel at 200 miles in a single night.
Yeah.
So it's doable.
It's doable.
Fuck that. I'm cool. I do not want any curses or any of those creatures fucking stalking my ass, dude. I'm already paranoid as it is, man. Like all the shit that I believe in.
Do you know any Navajo people that you could kind of follow up and see if there's any actual lore in the culture?
No, man. Yeah. Even then, I don't think they would probably talk about it with me.
Yeah,
no. You'd have to have a more valid reason.
Yeah.
To get information out of them.
Maybe you just give them whiskey or firewater, as they call it.
Damn.
Oh, my joke was bad? The other thing was... Oh, fuck you guys. Yeah, also I've been... remember Mark Lugo? We used to work with him at UPS?
Yeah. Yeah.
He was telling me that he went on a camping trip one time and he... hanging out with the Native Americans that were like up where he was at, whatever the fuck. And he said they were drinking whiskey, and sure enough, dude, things got fucking crazy. One of the Native Americans tried to kill his brother. Like, he got really pissed off, man. Like, went over to, I don't know, his truck, whatever the fuck, pulls out a fucking tomahawk and like throws it at the door. Yeah. And he's like, man, I've always heard, that, don't ever give a Native American whiskey. He's like, after that, seen that shit, he's like, fuck no, man. He's like, I believe in that. I'm never going to give a Native American whiskey. I was like, that's a fucking terrifying story, man. It's good to know. All right. Well, just pass me the peace pipe. Give me that. Like that. But yeah, dude, I kind of want to go because, Southern California... There's a couple of, or I don't know. I know there's one at least. The Native American, Navajo tribe close by, like a reservation, right?
I don't know where it's at, but I know there is one in California.
Yeah, it's like on the way to Vegas. You always see the sign like Navajo or something.
Yeah.
Blah blah. I kind of want to go like at night and just travel the road and see what the fuck is up.
That sounds
dumb. It sounds dumb, but I kind of want to do that. Just drive.
Well, I feel like most of the times it's just going to be boring. You're just going to be driving around at night. I mean, this stuff can't always happen like every single night. Otherwise, they would get caught.
Well, they have meetings and apparently agendas and shit like that. So
Hey, that's what he got. That's what I heard from his interview. So I mean,
there's also
I thought it was weird.
I thought there's a thing that I read too. It was like that they prey on the living. They're trying to they take the lives of the living in order to inherit the rest of their lives, their living years or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Because if they don't, they themselves will die. So they kind of need to fuck around with the living and take their lives that they have left. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Take their youth.
Kind of like the Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
Yeah. Otherwise, they themselves will die. So I don't know how old, some of the tribes members are, whatever the fuck, but I mean,
oh shit! What the fuck?
What is it? Is it a creature?
You all right?
Look, my face got all blurry like I watched the Ring video. I'm back.
It did get blurry. Why did it get blurry?
I don't know, man.
That's what you get for posting that fucking thing, Dick.
Something must have happened to me during that time. You guys couldn't see me exactly. No, I actually I figured it out.
Yeah, I should have watched that The Thing documentary.
Oh, you don't.
Almost done it. Almost done it. I didn't add the hard R, so I'm good.
I'm the hard R.
Yeah, I was gonna watch that, and then I ended up, YouTube's always like, oh, look at these other videos that might pique your interest, and the other one was like, top 10 parallel universe stories and shit. I was like, yeah, all right.
Isn't it weird that you could go on YouTube and start somewhere and then end up fucking somewhere completely off the fucking wall?
Different, dude. Yeah.
For me, it always ends up with people, like, videos of people getting shot and shit. That's always where I end up, no matter what.
Those are the best videos, though, too.
I always end up there. I don't know why. It's like just videos of shootings.
Yeah, like surveillance footage of people just getting robbed and shit.
Yeah, I don't know how I get there. But I've been watching a bunch of flat Earth stuff too, though. Really?
Are you a flat earther?
You watching flat Earth stuff? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, dude. Why do you waste your fucking time watching?
Because
they have a good argument.
The kind of stuff they do. The kind of stuff they say to try to make themselves feel like validated is just fucking crazy. So I don't know. I like to watch it because there's just so many. There's a defense for everything. It's like this guy was like, you can only use some camera that they're like in love with. It's like a Nikon P900 or some shit like that, right?
Because it's flat.
It's the only one you could use, and they say that the reason why it looks curved is because the lenses are curved on cameras and stuff. And then even if you go up to space and see it with your own eyes, your visor's curved. So it's like no matter what, you can't trust your own eyes. You can't trust. I mean, they're gonna say your eyes are round, so that's why. You know what I mean? Like it's just fucking bullshit.
The fuck?
Yeah, like everything is like there's always an excuse, no matter what. Like,
that is the stupidest fucking
your
thing.
Your eyes are round, so you can. Are they trying to say you can't fly around the Earth?
Yeah. They say you can't fly around the Earth. They say that it's like a huge conspiracy with like airplane fucking companies and shit like that. What airline companies? That's the word I was looking for.
Airplane companies.
Yeah, we don't need them on Team Human.
Yeah, right. Dude, that is the weirdest fucking thing. Why would you waste your time watching videos like that, dude?
Well, it's probably funny.
It's funny.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, it is.
I wouldn't. I'd be like, nah, man, you guys are just dumb.
Okay, what about people who don't believe in this topic, so they decide to tune in and just hear your perspective?
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's just shit that I believe in. I mean, okay, honestly, what, you're going to believe people who have the facts of like, oh, yeah, the Earth is fucking round and shit like that, but they just choose not to believe that it's round? But this is a tribe of Native Americans that have been on our soil since, like, even before we were actually a country. They have legends and thousands of accounts and stories of this creature being around. And a lot of them believe in this shit. They know it's real. They don't ever go outside at night in the reservations. So, I don't know, man. I'm going to take their word for it and be like, okay, Yeah, I'm cool. I don't really want to fuck with these things. So I don't know, man. Yeah, if people want to, come on here and kind of believe they can do their own research and shit like that, I mean, they can watch that video that George was talking about, the Navajo chief discussing it, which is still baffling to me.
I do want to see that video too.
Every article I read was always like, yeah, they don't ever, they don't speak about it, they don't discuss it at all. They don't, especially with people who are not Navajo.
Yeah,
which was strange to me.
Yeah, the guy who was interviewing the chief, like, he wasn't Navajo, but I guess he lived and worked on the reservation. So maybe that was...
He gained his trust.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe.
Huh. That's crazy. Yeah, so some of their, I guess those creatures, they've been outcasted in the tribe, right?
Yeah.
So they're not designated specifically to, just the reservation. Most of them probably live off reservation and do a lot of their bidding or whatever the shit at night off the reservation. So they don't necessarily have to be Navajo in order for you to provoke an attack, from them or whatever. They could always just I want to go over to this fucker's house and fuck with them kind of shit.
Yeah.
But it also kind of I kind of want to do a lot more research. You hear stories about the Goat Man and shit like that.
I've heard stories of the Goat Man. Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of want to do more if that could be, maybe a Navajo, medicine man just fucking around with people.
What kind of circles are you guys hanging out in when you hear about all this stuff? I've never heard about the goat man either. It's just is it you who bring? Well, shit. Do you see what I just did? I put it down there. You're not down there. Well, someday you'll be, down there. But fuck, dude, I didn't even. All right. Anyway.
Yeah, that's right.
So you're the one who brings it to George and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, I watch shit on YouTube or read articles and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. That's creepy. I never heard of this. And I start conducting a bunch of just reading shit and watching things, and I'm like, holy fuck. And then we'll get drunk and I'll be like, night comes along, I'm like, did you guys hear about this thing?
Yeah, you like finding people when they're fucking vulnerable. There's times where I came down from Las Vegas or something, or David got me kicked out of my house, and yeah, all of a sudden. So
Friday night.
I end up, yeah, right. It's always, isn't it always on the weekend?
Yeah, it's always convenient
for you. So anyway, I go over to David's house and I'm going to sleep on the floor in his fucking room because I have nowhere else to sleep. So I'm laying on the floor in his room, and then I'm about to fall asleep. He doesn't sleep with the TV on or anything like that. It bugs the shit out of me because I need something going on, or else I'm just gonna sit there and stare at the roof all night. So
I like the darkness and the silence.
So David will just roll over and be like, "You sleeping?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Let me tell you about something that's fucking gonna haunt your fucking dreams forever." And then he'll tell me something fucking horrible like that, and he'll be like, "All right, well, good night, buddy," and just turn around, and in 2 fucking seconds he's already sleeping. And I'm like, and then he kept me awake for so long that I'm like, fuck, I gotta pee.
I don't want to go out of the room.
Guess I'm gonna hold it till the sun comes out.
Oh man, yeah, because if I can't sleep, well, shit, you can't either.
Yeah.
But no, dude, conducting the research on this topic, man, it really creeped me the fuck out.
There's some creepy stories, and
I really got chills up my spine, fucking reading some of the shit. I was like, oh god.
Yeah, there are some creepy ones. There was one where this guy was talking about he had some friends over. He lives I think he said 15 miles from the nearest neighbor, and he had friends over, and him and his friends, they're staying in it's not really, I guess it's kind of the guest house, but it's more just a trailer in the back, but it doesn't have a restroom. It is an outhouse.
Yeah.
So they would have to leave the trailer and walk to the outhouse. And so he's like, oh, like they were out there and they were playing video games, and one of their friends had to go use the restroom. So he started walking to the outhouse, and then 10 minutes passed. He hadn't come back, and then 10 minutes, another 10 minutes. So it's been 20 minutes. Still hasn't come back. And I'm like, man, he's been there for a long time. And then a half an hour goes by, and he's like, like all of a sudden he had to go now. He had to go use the restroom. So he opens the door. The dude is standing at the door, like just dead straight face, just looking at him. And he's like, oh, that's kind of weird, like he's like, his friend doesn't normally play pranks, so it's kind of like out of the norm. Yeah. And he's like, all right, man, you got me. Okay. So he kind of like shuffles around him and starts walking towards the outhouse. And then his friend turns around and then starts following him. And then he's like, oh, that's like super creepy. So like he like walks all the way to the outhouse, and he gets into the outhouse, and then his friend just stops at the door and then just waits for him to come back out. And so sure enough, he opens the door again, just staring right at him. And he's like, okay, dude, you're starting to creep me out. And then he decided to sprint for it, and he sprints right past him to the right back to the little guest house. And then I guess his friend came back, and he was like, hey, where'd you go? He's like, I've been here the whole time. And he was like, dude, I just saw you outside.
Wait. So his friend was inside the house?
Yeah, by the time he got back.
What the fuck?
So,
yeah.
All right, sorry, Alexis, one of our viewers, and somebody who is going to be on a regular show, The Speakeasy Gentleman,
all right,
wrote in, and she was saying that she was telling me about a couple things. But one of them, she said, I had a dude come tell me after a show that the devil told him to come on stage and break my neck, but that he chose not to.
Oh, that's nice.
Wow.
Fuck.
Well, he chose not to.
Oh, so sweet.
Yeah.
But she was saying that there's like all kinds of weird things that she saw, like a couple weird spirit type things. Somebody who had a bunch of weird scratches on her when she started screaming, and there were a bunch of weird scratches on her. Damn, she needs to be on this show, dude.
Yeah, dude. Ask her if she wants to be on like a couple weeks from now.
Well, she's watching right now. If David David ever does a show again,
yeah,
it normally takes a few months.
Well, she's got a lot of planning, dude. We got a lot of planning for this awesome show. Yeah, if you want to be on the show, whatever the hell you want to talk about, let me know. Do some research and plan it out.
Wow.
So what? 2 weeks from now, which would be what's today? Today's 5th.
Fucking David.
Well, I have a calendar there.
Why do you need a calendar? 5 plus 14, that's 19.
I don't do math, Josh. Fucking racist.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so...
Out, boy. Oh, shit, look, I'm blurry again. Oh, God.
Dude, I'm telling you, man.
But
it's weird. It's only like the top half of your face.
There's like a fucking...
a Wendigo there.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
There's like a ghost just sitting on my desk right in front of me. I think that's...
Is it the rake monster?
It's like, hey.
Oh, yeah, I saw the word rake, but I didn't read into what it was. Did you, George?
No, but I saw like a video, about the supposed rake monster, and it's I don't know, seemed fake. So,
okay.
I mean,
this mask comes off.
It was Old Man Willie the whole time.
Yeah.
Never mind. I got something to talk about on that note Sunday. Sunday.
Yeah, so you want to bring up a little plug-in for Sunday or what?
Yeah, are we done? We're done already?
It's already 8:48. We started at what?
I don't know.
7:40? Started like 7:50, right?
Fancy, huh?
So, this Sunday, we have two stand-up comedian / podcaster and his podcaster buddy on the show. We're drinking PBR. David, you getting it?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So we're drinking some PBR.
What was that noise? That come from you?
I don't know, dude. I don't know what's going on. My door's been like moving and stuff like that, and
Dude, I'm telling
my
you, man,
face
you done
has been
fucked
going
up.
blurry.
You done fucked
Damn you,
up.
Tom Green!
Okay. I was telling you, Josh.
But yeah, we have a really, really great episode of the Speakeasy Gentleman planned. It's gonna be super fun. And Pierce is back.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
We need to Pierce.
Hey, after I figured it out, I ran the show pretty well. It went fine. It was okay.
I thought it was all right. Yeah. I thought it was good.
Thanks,
George.
That was good. Thanks, man.
Everything turned out fine.
Everything turned out fine, sir.
I'm not sure what to do with my hands.
Just keep them at your side. Everything turned out fine. So yeah, I mean that's it for the Nevermore narrative. Again, if you want to be a guest on the show, you can email us, or how do we do this?
Yeah, sure. You could email us at find us at the Speakeasy Gentleman on Facebook. That's probably the best. Facebook.com/the Speakeasy Gentleman, and let us know. There's tons of podcast people that are on my friends list that do paranormal stuff, so maybe we could get one of them on too.
That sounds good. Yeah.
Cross promote.
So yeah, again, we always talk about the weird stuff, the creepy, hauntings, paranormal, conspiracy theories, supernatural, extraterrestrial shit.
I'm excited for some weird conspiracy theory stuff too.
One time you should do like a live video and then go to a house.
I've been wanting to do a Black Star Canyon video.
You should do it, man. We can watch you die in real life.
Yeah, right. Just live stream it, like, yo.
In RL.
I'll be like Paul or Logan Paul, right? Whoever it was.
Paul Logan.
Whatever, that one guy. I'll just wear a goofy hat when I get killed. I'll be like, No, I mean, there's a couple of places out here in Southern California that I've been wanting to go to. In particular, one is the Enchanted Forest, which is in Pasadena.
Where the hell's that?
Yeah, Pasadena, not too far from the courthouse, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. What's the Hallbrook Hotel?
Hallbrook Hotel?
Yeah.
No, I don't think I've heard of it.
I think.
Why? Who's that? Who's asking?
I just got written Hallbrook Hotel. I think maybe that's like a haunted thing. Let me find out.
I'm assuming it would be. I went to the Roosevelt Hotel once. That was interesting.
What's the one where the lamb? What's her name?
Cecil Hotel.
Oh, dude, go there.
Have I gone there? Cecil Hotel is not that far from the Roosevelt Hotel, I don't think. I don't know, man. That place is like...
It's in Grass Valley, California. Does it have some lore about being haunted? I don't know. Yeah, dude, you should totally go to the Cecil, man. Get a room there.
Fuck that, dude.
No?
Like 1408. I told you not to stay in that room, you dumb motherfucker. I'm cool, dude. I gotta have someone with me at least. Shit. Yeah, I went to the Roosevelt Hotel years ago. It was after me and my friends went to a concert, and her sister ended up getting she had a room, and she's like, oh, you guys can stay here. I was like, dude, we're at the Roosevelt Hotel. I was aware of some of the stories that surrounded the hotel. One of which was, it used to be, well, I mean, it was a hotel, but there have been a lot of famous dead celebrities that have stayed at the hotel while they were filming, whatever movie was in town or whatever the fuck. And one of these famous people that stayed at the hotel was Marilyn Monroe. And in her room, she had a mirror that she always, just happened to have, or whatever, that was always kind of her mirror.
Yeah.
And so after, I don't know exactly when, but it was sometime after she passed, whatever, the hotel decided to keep the mirror. And so they had it on one of the floors or whatever. And so there was a lot of stories of people who, when they would look in the mirror as they were passing by, they would see Marilyn Monroe's reflection behind them. And so they turned around and she wasn't there, you know what I mean? And I was like, we got to find out where this fucking mirror is, dude. So then there's, I think, 12 floors to the Roosevelt Hotel. But on the very top, you have to have, the key, whatever the fuck, to get on the very top floor. You have to be staying on that floor in order to get to that floor. So I was like, all right, well, 5 is my lucky number. So we went on floor 5, and we got off. And they have when I went, every floor had the same pictures, exactly in the same spot. Uh-huh. So you wouldn't be able to tell what floor exactly you were on unless you knew exactly what floor you were on. It was the weirdest thing. And every single time, dude, there was a photo of Steve McQueen's eyes staring at you as he got out of the elevator.
What the fuck?
Creepy.
Yeah. I was like, all right. And he was just like, staring, whatever the fuck. I'm like, okay. So we walked down the hall, and we were just kind of snapping pictures here and there, just randomly. And we walked down when you go down the hall, you make a right. Down that hall is where the fire escape is, where the staircase. It's like an indoor staircase, whatever the fuck. And so I was like, well, maybe we could take the fucking staircase up to the fucking top floor and just, fool around and see what the fuck is up there. Because on that top floor, there was a legend of a woman who would run around on that floor at like every night at midnight or some shit. Like, she would scream and pound on the fucking doors asking for help, and people would open the door and there'd be no one there.
Damn.
Yeah, like that. Was that you, Josh?
That had to have been George.
Yeah, it was me.
Oh, I was like, I thought that was coming from Josh's end. I was like, ooh.
George, you should have just stuck with that, because I would have been like, was that George? I played that off really cool, but I
was waiting for him to freak out because he was gonna.
Was that you, Josh? No, it's got to be George. I think I said that pretty confidently. Where I was like, nah, that was George.
Nah,
get out of here.
So we went to the very end of this hallway, and the door to the actual the staircase was locked. You needed a key in order to get in there, whatever the fuck. So we're like, yeah, fuck it, whatever. So we turn around. I take one fucking step, and we heard a door open. And we turn around real quick, and we were expecting a guest to walk out of one of their rooms that they're staying at. And I was just like waiting there for like a couple seconds. I'm like, I don't see anybody. I don't hear anybody, like, a shuffling as they're walking out the door, or voices like, oh, hey, I'll be back,
Yeah.
And I look at the stairway door again, and it's open just a little bit.
The door that was just locked.
The door that was just locked, dude. And so me and like my friend Jesse, we look at each other like, I'm all right. I want to go inside real quick, and then you try and open it again from this end. Because if it opens in from the inside, then it should be fine. So then I quickly like go inside the staircase. So this is an indoor staircase, and it's like a solid steel staircase. So it's echoey as fuck in there.
Yeah.
I peek my head in, try to hear, listen, and shit like that. Nothing, dude. No footsteps, no voices, nothing. No chain, no keys jingling of like how the fucking door opened. I'm like, that's fucking weird. I'm like, hello? No callback, dude. I went up one flight, looked around, nothing. Went down one flight, looked around, nothing. And then I told Jesse, I'm like, all right, close the door and see if you can open it from your end again. So we close the door, and then he tries it, and he's like, no, I can't. I'm like, dude, I opened up the fucking door. I'm like, dude, what the fuck, man? It was like the creepiest thing to ever happen. But I asked the hotel, I don't know if he was telling me the truth, but he said they gotten rid of the mirror in which Marilyn Monroe's reflection would be appearing in, like some years ago. I was like, yeah, right, bruh.
Is that bad, though, to see Marilyn Monroe? I mean, I could think of creepier things to see. Well,
I don't think it's a bad thing, because, I don't know, usually when it's a celebrity, it's usually kind of like, oh, man, I saw this, like even
I know a bunch of girls that think they look like Marilyn Monroe, so... So Brandon Scott says, just got here. Start the story over, please. Thanks.
Shit. You gotta watch it all over again, man. We're about to knock you on the head. Yeah. All right. So then 2 weeks from now, the 19th, we'll have another show. If you'd like to be a guest, please email us at whatever Josh said earlier.
joshpodcast@gmail.com, or just right here at The Speak as a Gentleman on Facebook. Or you could write David Raby on Facebook. Or write me. Either way. Write somebody.
Yeah, write Josh. Either way. And then if you have a particular topic you would like to speak about, let me know. I'll do some research, and we'll have like a good conversation about shit like that. So again, anything weird, creepy, paranormal, just conspiracy theories even. I love all that shit. So that's it for the night. So thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in a couple weeks. Good night. You guys ready?
Let's do it.
All right, ready? And good night.